Alrighty, it's time. It's time to save the project. For those of you who are watching and don't know exactly who I'm talking about, this is mainly for three of my friends, Jesse, Mike, and Amber. It was gonna be a surprise to them that I was gonna reveal on my birthday, but all of us kind of know how that turned out, so it's actually ironic in a way that I was going to reveal it for my birthday. But yeah, so in all fairness, Amber actually guessed what it was, but I didn't count it because she just rambled it off in a list of things that she thought it could potentially be. So Amber, you did actually guess it, but you just immediately backtrack. So and Jess, the reason I didn't tell you is because I knew as soon as I said something and gave you maybe a hint, then you would automatically get it. And in all fairness, okay, so I love these three people. Don't ever, and this is for future me too, don't ever go in an escape room with them because we're never going to get out, because literally I told you I was going to be doing this. I told all three of you I was going to be doing this, and I told Amber, I told you twice actually. But this was a hard thing to keep a secret for a long time, not for the reason that I had anticipated, but it wasn't because I wanted to talk about it, which I did. I did want to talk about this, but I knew that would be more of a surprise. And that's why I actually told Amber what I was doing, is because I kind of wanted to get a taste of what the reactions were going to be. And Amber said that it was I forget the exact wording that she used, but it was a hero's journey at this point because we're on the 8th season. So that was probably the biggest red flag that you're going to get right before it. And just so the three of you are all on the same page, Mike does know what it is, and that's just because I knew he would be the least excited out of the three of you. So yeah, and it wasn't that it was hard just because just doing it all, because it wasn't that. It was the songs kept getting stuck in my head and I couldn't get them out, and I couldn't have you guys know that I knew the songs or knew what you were talking about without giving it away. So without further ado, we're 3 minutes and maybe I can put it down with editing, but without further ado, I want to show you my Netflix. You should automatically recognize some of these. And all three of you have Netflix, so you all know what this means. Alright. So I'm just going to keep scrolling for a little bit just to show you guys. Like I said, the songs kept getting stuck in my head. And for kind of a time lapse of how long this took, I'm working right now on a Crush Your Girls. I can show you that here in just a second. But for a timeline for you guys as to how long it took, and this one I did watch all the way. I don't know why Netflix is saying that I didn't watch it, but it's the one where, I can prove it to you, it's the one where, spoiler alert, Pinky knows from the cakes about Shining Armor and Cadence about to have Flurry Heart, and Pinky is the one that accidentally knows because of the cakes, and she has to keep it from the others, which I found kind of ironic because that was the one that had to do with secrets. And there was times I was just debating on telling you guys about this just because I'm they can't really be that excited about this. But and then this one, this one happened. And so it was, the whole premise of it was to try to keep a secret. If you know that it's going to be really, the lesson that's being learned is don't break the secret that you have when, to surprise somebody else, if you know something that they don't, which was kind of ironic. But, so yeah. But I did actually watch that one. I don't know why it's saying that I didn't watch it, but I did. But yeah, just to kind of give you like a general synopsis about how long this took. That night when we all went bowling and you guys were talking about My Little Pony for like an hour while I was driving, and I said one of these days I'm going to know exactly what you're talking about. And that was that night where I watched the first 4 episodes. That's why it's actually not on the it's not showing that I watched the first 4 episodes, because I watched those on YouTube, and then afterwards I had to get Netflix, and so that is why, Amber, I suddenly got a subscription to Netflix again. Watched all those. I think the only one that I haven't watched was the movies. I did watch the movie too, by the way. I watched this one. I don't know why it's showing that I didn't watch it. But I watched it. I still have to watch these 3 right here, but that's it. I did watch the movie. I'm trying to get to a place where it's not going to show anything, copyright and whatnot. Let's just go with that. I just don't want anything to be playing in the background as I'm doing this. Oh my gosh. I'm trying to get the viewfinder to cooperate. But yeah, that's why I rented it from the library, but it was a new release, so I couldn't have it for the video. It had to go back yesterday. But yeah, I did watch the movie. I did watch as much of season 8 as I could find. The only one that I couldn't find so far has been The End and Friend. But everything else, even Yakety Sax, I watched. So for the most part, I am caught up. I had like this entire thing that I wanted to say about it too, but I just don't know if I'm actually going to be able to have the means to do it. But yeah, I just wanted to get you this out as soon as possible, because quite honestly, I was tired of keeping this a secret. Again, it's just been, how long has it been since we've all been bowling together? Like a month and a half? It's been a lot of My Little Pony, let me tell you over here. But, actually, Jesse, if you would have looked while on my birthday, if you would have looked over at my laptop for like 2 seconds, you would have seen it plastered with My Little Pony. But, you didn't. And so the, surprise was still intact. Yeah, now you guys know why I said it was ironic that I was going to reveal it on my birthday. And I will say this, okay? I was kind of trying to do a review thing on this channel, and I will say My Little Pony is a good show. I will admit it, it's a good show. Is it my favorite? Hell no. Hell no, it is not my favorite. Not by a long shot, but it's still a really good show. Like, when it comes to animations and stuff like that, it's probably in my top 5. But as to shows on a whole, it doesn't even crack my top 10. That just is what it is. But I do like the dynamic among the main 6. I really do. And it's just, like, the characters are really relatable. And that's what kind of drew me to, kind of hook. Like, I was going to do this anyway, but this, like, really hooked me onto it. Like, I was just going to do this anyway. Like, no matter if I loved it or hated it, I was going to do it just so I knew what they all were talking about. But I have to say that it did really draw me in, and it was, like, because the characters are so well written, they're so relatable. And so the dynamic among the main 6 is really what kind of hooked me in. There's a lot, because I was also I tried to stay out of the fan base as much as I could while I was doing this project until I got caught up. But, with what, like, little research I did, which was mainly, like, TV tropes and stuff like that, and the wikis and stuff like that, from what I saw of, like, the theorizing behind it, I don't feel like there's a whole lot to theorize about this show. I mean, there are some things, like how old they're supposed to be, or, like, I also kind of picked up that all of them are supposed to have, like, some sort of mental health issue going on. I don't know if that's like 100% accurate. I can go into both of those in detail if you want me to in a different video. But and they're also, and like the age, and like the ages, I feel like they are a lot older than their target audience, which is something that you don't really see in kid shows a whole lot. Normally, the target audience, the main character is the same age as their target audience, but in this show, I feel like they're a lot older. But again, I can go into both of these points in detail in another video or two. The characters are very just well written and easily relatable. Like, you can easily see the quirks and the flaws and everything in the characters, like from episode 1. Like, you just really get a feel and relate to these characters on such a level, you know, such a personal level. And which is weird because Animal Farm, if you guys know that book, Animal Farm specifically like does animals so that you can't relate to the animals as easily, but in this one you seem to be able to relate, which is really weird because it would seem to take on the same like principle of Animal Farm, right? Like, they're ponies, you shouldn't be able to relate to them, but you do, and you relate, and it's not that you just relate to one either, which is, I think, is really cool. Like, there's a little bit, like, like, a lot of kid shows, they have, you know, the idea, you know, the brains, the muscle, you know, they have these specific, like, traits for each character, and it's very, like, one-dimensional, and, which is fine in a kid show because it's just very, like, it's very simple. Like, it's a simple structure. Like, it's not just like, oh, here's the brains, here's the brawn, here's the nerdy one, here's the obnoxious one, you know? They're all very, like, they all have a part of each other in them. So it's not just, you know, I mean, they have, like, their main quirks, you know? You know, Fluttershy is the shy one, Pinkie Pie is the loud, outgoing one. Like, they all have their personalities, but they can also morph into other types of personalities, which, again, is why I think that they're not as young as their target audiences. And there is a Netflix original of Castlevania. Huh. Maybe I'll have to watch that one. So, I'm going to say this, but I'm trying to say this in a way that is not offensive. Because I know not just the 4 people that, or just the 3 people that I know are going to watch this. There will be more that come out that don't really know me that well. I'm trying to say this in a non-offensive way because I know this is the minority. But I do love Equestria Girls just because, like I said, I love the dynamic of the main 6. I love how, like, there is just this ebb and flow with them, and that, yeah, they all have, like, their set things that they're good at or whatever, but, like, they also, like, kind of complement each other and also can sympathize with each other and also have a little bit of themselves in each other. So that's why I like Equestria Girls, not just because I just, like, love the dynamic of the main 6, and Equestria Girls seems to bring that back from the original season of My Little Pony. Well, not the original season, but you know what I mean. Season 1 of Friendship is Magic, back to, you know, its roots, whereas in the later seasons it kind of got away from that, which is why I liked Equestria Girls. But, I noticed that, because, like I said, I was in the fan base a little bit, like, kind of trying to figure out how old they're supposed to be. Again, I think they're older than their target audience. They're probably actually about my age, or, like, our age, if you actually sit and think about it. Just because of their mannerisms and stuff like that. But in Equestria Girls, they are in high school. But if you pick up on the few things that they say, especially in the first Equestria Girls movie. They are presumably either juniors or seniors. Because they're definitely not freshmen, which is what a lot of the Reddits have assumed that they are. It's like 13 or 14. They are not freshmen because they have, in the beginning of the first one, well, you know what I mean. In the first one, Twilight gets a yearbook of them, and then they specifically say that that's from freshman year, and they are quite a bit younger than they are presently as the movie's going on. So they are at least juniors or seniors, and the movie takes place like during their prom, which only juniors and seniors can attend. So they're presumably either juniors or seniors, meaning they're 17 or 18, and now they're human, which makes me seriously question the morality behind Equestria Girls. But that's not for me to judge, I guess. I know that is a very minority set of the fan base. I know, like, again, I'm not meaning to offend, but it just makes me seriously question, like, what part of that was to get the fans something new and exciting, and what part of that was taking off a sin. I don't know how I feel about Equestria Girls. I really don't know how I feel about it. I just like the main six dynamic, and that's really all I know about it. I don't even know if I really want to get into like that facet of the series or the thing in a whole. I don't know. I just love the fact that Fluttershy and Pinkie Pie have the same voice actress. I really love that for some odd reason. Same with Rainbow Dash. Same with why can't I remember her name? Rainbow Dash and Applejack. But you know, the fact that it's Fluttershy and Pinkie Pie. I mean, come on now. Like, I dipped my toe into the shippings of My Little Pony. Very, very like not a lot at all, guys. Like, I maybe saw like 1 or 2 videos about it. Again, with TV tropes. I very, like, I have my own ships, I guess. Again, I guess that can be a third video. I don't know how I feel about some of the shippings. Except for Lyra and Bonbon, that's obviously canon. I don't know how else to describe it. Oh, probably, I guess, would be a good closing point where I think the series should have ended. Here, let me go because I don't remember the names of the episodes by heart. I feel as though season 5 finale was a really good sending off point with that end song. I really think everything thereafter is pretty unnecessary. I love the names of the episodes, by the way. Like, they just, I love like puns like that, and in the extended theme, I just love that. Yeah, I feel like just after season 5, everything kind of after that was kind of unnecessary. I mean, you do figure out Applejack's family. You do figure Rainbow Dash does join the Wonderbolts, but I feel like everything after that was pretty, like, fan fiction could have covered that. Like, yeah, it wouldn't be canon, but, you know, I feel like it was kind of unnecessary, and they're kind of like grasping at straws at this point in the series. I feel like season 5 was a good rounding off point, especially with that last song. I feel like that kind of encompassed the entire series. Watching them all back to back to back like this, it's really, like, you can really see where the writers are kind of struggling to kind of come up with new concepts and ideas. 'Cause, like, they're starting to cover like the same friendship issues, I have to say. And I wish it wasn't the case, but like they're starting to go into some really weird territory. And I feel like at the very beginning it was a lot cleaner, and now they're just kind of throwing stuff at a wall and seeing if it sticks. Especially with Yakety Yaks, or Yakety Sax, the new episode. I did not like that one at all. I thought it was the stupidest thing ever. Like, everybody was so out of character in that one. It was just horrible. I didn't like that one at all. But the Mean Six was actually really good. So, like I said, like, it seems like now they're just throwing stuff at the wall and seeing if it sticks. So I think that season 5 would have been a good rounding off point, and it didn't have to go into all this, what ifs. But it is what it is, I guess. They're still doing some really decent episodes, because now, like, some of the characters are starting to become out of character because, they didn't really, they learned their friendship lesson. Now they're trying to teach others about friendship and whatever. So, I don't mean to say whatever and, like, blow it off like that, but, like, they are out of character, it seems as though, which makes me feel it, again, like, they are way older than is being let on, because now they're teachers. I mean, think about that. They are teachers in this school, okay? It does say that they are unqualified to be teachers, but they are teachers. Like, you wouldn't trust a 13-year-old, no matter how qualified they are to teach a class or to run a class. You wouldn't trust an 18-year-old. So it makes me think that they are, like, way older. But, again, that's another video for another time. But this is getting already way too long. But, yeah, this was the project that I've been working on. I hope that you three like it, at least. And to anybody else, let me know if you want to know about, like, my thoughts on some of these things that I have kind of hinted upon. And let me know down in the comments, and I will see you there. Alrighty, bye. So, yeah, Amber, yeah, I totally knew what you were talking about for the past, like, 3 months. 3 months? For the past, like, month, what you were talking about with My Little Pony. I obviously knew what you were talking about. Just proves that apparently I have pretty good poker face, I guess.